What did you think of the performance after you watched the tape?
It's probably one of the shittiest performances I've been a part of as a player or coach. I'm just disappointed, but we got to move on from it. We got to build off of what we can from that. We definitely have to get better.
How much of it do you attribute to Jake's absence?
That's the easy way out, putting it on Jake. But the fact of the matter is things happen, as we've seen over the course of the last 3 seasons, guys, come in and out. Things happen, unfortunate ththings happen sometimes, and guys have to be prepared when the opportunity comes. And it's my job to prep them, and sometimes you may think a guy's ready for some things, and maybe he's not. I need to keep on continuing to work with them and continue to ensure that they get better.
Was it surprising to you at all, kind of same compared to what you've seen in practice so far?
Yeah, I knew we struggle a little bit. There's some changes at some key positions. I knew we struggled a little bit, but I didn't think it'd be to that degree. The number of things that they did in terms of, and it's no secret, so it doesn't matter if I say it publicly, they'll run the same thing this week. We've received a lot of 3-man games, so the guys in the interior, need to be able to pass things off. You need to stay on the same level. Starts with Stone and the drive guy. As soon as that doesn't happen, all of a sudden everything falls apart and there's a free man running. And so there's some plays that we had well, but overall, it wasn't a good job by any means. And just it starts to just being a little more focused. It wasn't so much from a physical aspect, but from a mental aspect. When things went down, it just kind of starts snowballing, false starts and different things of that nature. And things that we haven't done before in practice, whether it's our position or other positions, start coming into play and cause guys to kind of get off track. And it was very hard to get back, especially with the type of offense we run in terms of tempo and having a rhythm and different things of that nature. We're never able to get that. We're in so many situations where it's 3rd and 10 plus that just, what do you ask Coach Mazzoni to call? It's just a difficult situation, and we put ourselves in that situation. We can't do that again. We almost lost the game for us, but luckily the defense saved us.
Would you attribute the false start penalties to the first game jitters or something else?
No, it's overall communication, not just us, but just overall communication, just different things just going on. There's some issues. It wasn't that loud, but it's a little bit of noise that affected, but not to that degree. We need to get better. There's no excuses, and regardless of what the circumstances are or what's going on or anything else, we need to just make sure we do our part and handle and work on what we can control.
What do you attribute that miscommunication to? Is it just inexperienced, guys not used to playing with each other, or?
There's a number of different things. There are a number of different things that go, they're involved in it. But again, there's no excuses. We just need to get better. It doesn't matter who's in there or what our situation is. The fact of the matter is everybody here is on scholarship, and they're getting paid to play. And when their time comes and their number's called, they have to perform at a certain level, and that's what the expectation is if you're doing it out here every single day.
Were some of those stunts and pressures, were those different from what you guys have seen on film?
They actually ran less stunts than what we expected. On film, they ran stunts almost every single play, and then in that game, they probably ran stunts 40% of the time. They only ran about 3 different pressures. We saw the same thing. It's one of those things that until you stop it, they're going to keep on doing it. We saw a few years ago against Baylor when we had 4 guys go down in the game or something like that. And the guys are pressure positions, and they know what it is. But again, it's people want to blame certain individuals on our line. You can't blame them. Who else do you want to? It's just it could have happened to any of those guys, and it's a learning process, and we got to get better. And like I told them, nobody cares what your age is. Nobody cares about injuries. Nobody cares if Jake's not in there. The fact of the matter is you're here for a reason, just like I'm here for a reason. And I take a tremendous amount of pride in what I do and the product I put out there, and their reflection of me. And I understand there's certain things that come with some of the things that I've been fortunate enough to receive since I've been here, taking care of me, different things like that. And so I take it even more hard, in terms of how we perform. And just, I feel like we should perform at a high level regardless each week. But, when things like that happen where, people get all know about play calling and everything, well, what do you want to call when it's 3rd and long freaking 20 times in the game? Like I said, it all falls back on our shoulders just like this game. If we're rolling, it's because of us. We're overworked and often underappreciated. But the thing that matters is if they're not talking about us, it's a good thing. And they're talking about us too often last week because of sacks, false starts, and different things of that nature, and we need to get on track. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We got to come out here and we got to freaking ball, and we got to get after it every single day.
Scott playing his first game at center and Najee kind of playing his first game at all. What do you think of those two?
They struggled a little bit. Center obviously it's a difficult position to play in terms of calls. We've been very fortunate. Brendel's taken almost every single rep for the last 2.5 years, so we haven't had to deal with that. We've been prepping them, but like we always talk about, it's different when the bullets are flying. Things are happening fast and things of that nature. But again, you can learn on the job to a certain degree, but at a certain point, within the game, you gotta drop him and you gotta get after it a little bit. I thought he did a pretty decent job, but like I said, it wasn't one guy. There's a number of different things, a combination of different things, and if there's a breakdown on a certain thing, it affects the group. And so it may be one individual, but in terms of what we're going against and the things that we're seeing, if one guy breaks down, it breaks the entire thing. So it wasn't on one guy, it wasn't on anybody's shoulders. And it's not just first game, but then there's a number of guys that could have played in this position, but it would have been their first game. And I think we've been spoiled to a certain degree that some guys have been able to come in here as players, true freshmen. But again, I say, we talk about veterans, but is Alex Redmond really a veteran because he's played freaking a whole season? He's freaking 18 years old, and he played a pretty good game. But some of these guys, Malcolm is the guy, and we'll go back out there this week and, we try to keep everything pretty solid, try to get some continuity and different things of that nature, but we go and try to get after it, and just, hopefully we get better. We will get better.
What did you tell them after the game?
There's not much you need to tell them. Obviously I'm going to say what I have to say. I can't help myself, but for the most part, if you get to this level, you have you have to be fairly competitive, right? And so I would think to some degree that they know on their own, that it's a shit show and that this can't happen. I'm sorry. I'm talking to him, but they have to know to some degree what it was and be honest with yourselves. And that's what I told them, be honest with yourselves. Don't blame anybody else. It's just like Malcolm, yeah, you can play a solid game or whatever, but I'm not saying he did, but he can play a solid game, but if the guy next to him's not playing solid, he looks just as bad as him. So you better pick him up and you better talk to him and hold each other accountable. There's only so much I could do. I could prep them for the game and different things like that, but when they're on the field, they're on the field. And I can make adjustments, different things like that, but they got to step up the thing. And like I said, I need to prepare them a little better during the week. I thought I did a good job, but obviously it wasn't good enough. Obviously they didn't hold on to certain things when they got a situation where man measures man. We just need to step it up, and we're in the high performance business where you need to play at a high level every single play, and we didn't do that.
Could you see any more fire out of them today, just knowing how things went?
I saw a little more focus today. I'd still like to, it's never going to be enough fire for me in terms of what I want. In terms of I like to play a certain level all the time, and we're striving for greatness every day, and we're trying to build a foundation every day. So it can always be better, but in terms of focus, there's a renewed focus. But we're focused last week too. But it's about carrying it over when it really matters. When the game comes and you carry it over, and it doesn't matter all those other variables that we talk about. Those things don't matter. Just freaking numbers when you go out there, right? And you're asked to perform, and the guy behind you we're asking to win games for us. He needs to be able to count on you guys, count on us to do our jobs so he can perform and do the things that we need him to do that are necessary to us winning games and getting to where we need to be.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Let's go.